Hey guys, what is up? It is Will, and I'm back with another video. So this is a continuation of the past video that I just made. I told you I was going to split it up into two parts. Here's part two. So in the first video, we covered leveling with a max level character or having a carry with you. In this episode, we are going to go over how I personally level solo. I will be going through every deck setup that I have for every single school, essentially. So let's get right into it, shall we? I think it's time. Alright, so because I'm already on this character, let's just start with balance. So, balance is arguably one of the hardest schools to solo. Um, Ferric does an excellent day by day process of how to level a balance wizard. He's soloing everything. And by all means, I'm not saying that I'm a master at soloing because I do prefer using a max level wizard over soloing. However, if you're really confused and you don't want to go out of your way to farm all this stuff and you are confused about a deck setup, this is just like a basic guide, if you will. I am in no way better than Ferric. He is definitely the best solo PvEer, and I don't know, PvPer. I have no idea, but yeah. So this is just gonna be like a simple, like, here's how to set your deck. You'll probably have a 9 to 100% success rate with this deck. So essentially, in the first arc, it's pretty annoying. I will say that. So with you not having enchants, with you not being able to just blade and go, it's going to be very difficult. Wizard City is just a free for all. You toss a scarab, you toss a scorpion, you kill it. There's not really any strategy essentially towards Wizard City. After Wizard City, you get your balance blade. The bosses become a little bit harder. The mobs become a little bit harder, and that's when you take a little bit more. Maybe I should blade and then hit. Maybe you start building structure to your strategy. So you get balance blade at the end of Wizard City, and at level 16 you can unlock Sandstorm. Now Sandstorm is going to be critical in the first two arcs, I want to say, or until you get Power Nova. So what's gonna happen, what I always do is I keep my deck small. That's literally gonna be my motto: keep your deck small. Because I have a balance pet, I have a balance blade, so I'm gonna keep those two balance blades, right, because they stack, and I will add a Sandstorm. That's technically it. So with that, those two blades and that Sandstorm, you're probably gonna do around, I want to say, like 500 damage maximum, minimum, median, mean, whatever. You're gonna kill the mobs essentially. If you're confident in your damage, keep one. I don't care. I always like to keep one for a backup, and then I also like to add one more just in case someone weaknesses or shields and it doesn't kill. So that's essentially what my deck is for the majority of Arc 1 until I get Power Nova. Now, Arc 2 and Arc 3 and so on are pretty muddled. They're very similar. You're going to keep the same strategy through the majority. What I would suggest is training into Tower Shield, training into Feint, and then you'll be able to effortlessly kill the bosses. So, you're dealing with a lot more hard bosses as well as balance bosses. There's a couple balance bosses in the Arc 1 and Arc 2, the beginning of Arc 2, I should say. And they're difficult, but they're definitely easier. We're going to stick with the same strategy with that. I didn't show it in the past one because that's kind of like, you're going to need this strategy more because it's going to need more juice, essentially. So if you're going up against a regular boss, I always do the AoE and single hit strategy, I should say. I don't even know if it's called a strategy. It's literally just anyway. So here's how you set it up. So as you can probably tell, this is before we get Potent Trap, Potent Feint, Sharpened Blade, whatever. So this is pretty simplistic. You're gonna do around 3k with your Power Nova. 3 to 4k. If you're lucky, if you crit, I'd say I'll keep it more realistic. You're definitely going to be doing 2.5 to 3k, which is going to be doing a big amount. So what I would do is I would blade, use those 2 blades, Power Nova, that'll immediately kill the mobs. And then you would want to set up for the feint, blade again, Judgment if that's what you have. If you're already level 68, you could Chimera. In Azteca, you can Sabertooth, Gaze of Fate if you get a Shadow Pip, King Artorias. It's just a single hit, essentially. So you want to kill the mobs, do damage to the boss, blade, feint, single hit the boss. I can show what that is. I'll go to a boss in Azteca and show you guys. Um, Actually, I'll do it in Zafaria, because that's where I'm kind of basing this deck setup on. So let me go and I'll show you. Alright, I chose one of the first bosses in Zafaria because it was quick to get to, but this is essentially our setup. I'm acting as if I'm in Zafaria, so I don't have Colossal yet. And I forgot to mention, I would always pack feints in my deck, in my TC deck, just to make sure that it's fully dead if I'm not confident that a feint and 2 blades are going to kill. Yeah, so this is the gear I'm wearing. Because I'm level 100, I'm trying to get the average damage that someone would have at my level. So I think 85 is a pretty good. I always have 100 damage because of um, Waterworks and Zigzag and stuff like that. You always get at least 100 damage on all schools, aside from Ice. So that's essentially what we're going to do. So I could have 100 damage. I'm not for this video, just to show. So oh shit, I'm sorry. No, I'm not hacking. I'm in Zafaria. So I always like to blade first and then trap, but we don't have to worry about that right now. We're just gonna blade up and then go for the Power Nova. Alright, so we have the Blade Storm, and then we're gonna wait a few turns just to get enough to Power Nova, and then we're gonna show the rest of the strat. Alright, so we have our Balance Blade up, which is good. I usually know, I'm confident that 2 blades will kill the mob, so I'm saving that for the boss. I really hope this doesn't do more than I think. Yeah, it's gonna do it's a bit, it's chunky. Okay. Okay, now, while that wasn't the best example, it's easy, you know? So Zafari is very simple. It's one of the first, or it's the second world in the second arc. So you're still going to have those relatively easy bosses, not to mention that was the first boss that you face in Zafaria. So you can pretty much assume. However, with the Waterworks gear, you having 100 damage, you're most likely going to crit as well. That's around the similar damage that you're going to be able to do. So I'm not worried about showing you an instance where it doesn't kill, because I think you guys can pretty much figure out that you would blade up, Judgment, and that's essentially what you would do through, or what I do personally through all the worlds. So in Azteca, when you start getting Potent Trap and Sharpened Blade, it's that easy. It just adds more power to your arsenal, honestly. As the bosses start getting 17, 18,000 health, you can pretty much just Potent Trap, Potent Feint, regular Feint, and it'll do minimum 7 to 8k. So I think it's a pretty solid strategy for balance. The only instance in which this wouldn't necessarily be the best, the double balance hit, is of course a balance boss. I would still recommend doing a Power Nova. However, instead of a balance hit, I would definitely either do a Hydra or a Chimera, whichever one you prefer. I think Ferric uses Hydra. I'm not entirely sure. But I would definitely use Hydra because I like it better and it brings it back to when I was leveling my first balance wizard in the game. So yeah, that's essentially it for the balance strategies. You're gonna notice a pattern in all my wizards, and it's that my deck is small, concise, but effective. So let's move on to ice right now, because I'm dying to show you. Alright, I am back with my ice, and this setup is definitely a little bit more tedious. When you choose to make an ice, you do not choose to solo the game quickly. I would 100% recommend getting a pet with an Ice Blade card because you do not get your blade until level 38. I have absolutely no idea why King's Isle decided that that was a good idea. So get the blade early on and you'll be fine. I would honestly recommend. I would recommend the Freezing Rain Core. I think the Pet Hamster has a not only a blade, but it also carries a sharpened blade, even though you can't use them together. Or the Ice Dactyl. There's so many different things that you could use. So it's a very squishy thing. You can have whatever pet you want. I would just honestly for ice I would recommend getting a Ice Blade card pet. Now once again, Wizard City, Crocotopia, Marleybone leading into Mushu, they're all jokes. You know, we've already done it. Knowing you, this is probably not your first wizard. If it is, it's nothing to worry about. If you die, you die. However, there's not really much structure to those boss battles and mob fights. You just kind of gotta use your intuition and not, not shield when the mobs have one pip and aren't hitting when you could be hitting. So just like balance, I don't usually have a strat until I get, where is it? Until I get Blizzard. I think Blizzard is level 24, and that's kind of where you really need to start using the AoEs, because it just gets so painstaking using single hits. And every school is going to have to do it, just some schools get their AoEs earlier than others. So that's kind of where we're at here. So being an ice, being the weakest school, being... I had so much hope for this school. I really did. So even for mobs, I would definitely recommend packing 2 blizzards. Depending on what world you're on, we're going to start off with Dragonspire after you have your Ice Blade, because honestly, this is a good enough deck to kill any mob after or up until the end of Mushu. I'm confident. And if you wanted to, you could get some Ice Blade TCs, Feint TCs. TCs can help. I just wouldn't rely on them because my stupid ass always forgets to put them back in the deck. So yeah, to restock my treasure cards. So this is gonna carry you all the way to Dragonspire, and then Dragonspire is gonna start having mobs with 700 health, 800 health, which is kind of a stretch to hit with 30 damage and a base of 250 to 290. So when you get your Ice Blade card, that's when I would seriously recommend getting a pet with, where is it? Either another one of these pets so you can double blade, or everyone likes the good old Enchanted Armament pet, which carries a sharpened blade, which is absolutely a godsend. So you can essentially double blade yourself with more damage and hit that easy 11-1200 Blizzard. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking why I don't use monstrous treasure cards. If I'm being completely honest, it's a very good strategy. I like using it sometimes. It's just when they're expensive as fuck. And if you're a new player starting out, you don't have the means to get monstrous TCs, don't have the gold to get monstrous TCs, or you just, I don't know. I'm speaking in a way that if those are not like acquired, if you can't find a way to acquire those, this is a good strategy. It's going to take more time, yes, but it's still just as efficient. Instead of 1 round, it's 2 rounds, you know? So as we get more into Avalon, Azteca, Avalon is when you start having the 10k bosses, 11k, 14k. Azteca is when you get to 16, 17k. You want to start really packing these. You want to get the feints, you want to get... I always pack 2 of everything if I'm soloing, just in case I miss, and you want to do the Frost Giant or Snow... no, I do Frost Giant, to Woolly Mammoth, Lord of Winter if I have it, or where's the one that I always used to use? Oh, I used Woolly Mammoth on my pet. Yeah, so I had Woolly Mammoth on my pet. So that's what I would do. Literally, if Frost Giant doesn't kill, the Woolly Mammoth will. If you want to pack, I don't know, a Colossus, if you know that your Frost Giant will do massive damage, that's fine. Also, if you wanted to, you could pack that, and this would guarantee a kill on the boss. Especially if you have the enchanted armament, you could enchant the Elemental Blade, your Ice Blade. I would say at least 20k damage. I can show you. I'll go to an Azteca boss right now and I'll show you. Um, but yeah, so let me show you real quick. And yeah. Alright, so I'm in the Floating Mountains, which you usually already have Potent Trap and Sharpened Blade here. So I added some Potent Traps and some Sharpened Blades. If you want in a later video, I don't really think you guys will. I can show you how much damage it does without. We forgot to add Colossal. So this is, I can guarantee you, will kill the boss. Not only do we have an enchanted armament, which stacks with the card blade, so we can essentially have 3 enchanted ice blades, and that's going to be phenomenal. But you'll see what I do, and... Ooh, he is Storm. I use ice, so he probably has... I'll add one of those, why not? I'm not going to have any TCs because I always forget mine. So yeah, let's blade all the way up. We're going to start, I always like to start off with the elemental blades just so I can get all my 1-pip spells out of the way and start building pips as I blade with my ice blades. Okay, so we got our first potent trap. We're going to get the elemental blades out of the way. I was stunned, so that sucks, and that happens. But a lot of people are probably wondering where all my shields are. I don't use shields, shockingly. If it's a difficult boss, of course I'll use shields. But for these just regular questing bosses, there's no need. You're in and out before they can even do a massive amount of damage, unless you're just very unlucky. Okay, so he tower shielded, which is going to be really nice. I want to see how much damage I do now. Alright, he tower shielded again, so that's awesome. So we have the 2 stackable potent sharpened blade, ice blades, which is going to do us absolute wonders. And let's have this one, and then we will put that on that one, and then ice blade, and then we'll feint, and then we'll hit. And I'm almost 99% sure that this will kill. By all means, I always pack a second hit. I'm just showing you how much damage my Frost Giant will do with 90 damage, which is the average, I would say the average of a level 90, because you have Frostbite as well as a good pet. You have an established pet by level 90. So I will get these on, and I will show you right before I hit. Okay, so he fortified as well as having an ice shield. So in this situation, I always make sure I have Pierce TCs or Shatter TCs in my deck. I don't in this scenario, so this is gonna do, I would say, at least 12k, hopefully. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be up there. But yeah, it's not doing nearly as much as I would hope, but we'll see. Well, it did more than I hoped. So yeah, it's a very efficient strategy. The only thing I have to add is 1000% start adding shatters and pierces into your TC deck, because they're even from Crocotopia, they'll spam shields. So you want to make sure that if you're not confident in killing, that you have that pierce just to take the shield off before you hit. So that's pretty much it with my ice. Let me move on to my fire, because this is when things get... no, I'll move on to my life. I'll get like the support schools out of the way, and then we'll really get into the fun schools. Alright, I am back with my life, and he's such a cutie. I love my life wizard. This one is very pet reliant. You don't get your first AoE until I think now it's 48. So that's insane. Back then, I would centaur every single mob, which was absolute dog shit. And please, please, never, ever do that. We don't need to anymore. Because you know why? We have this pet known as the Kookaburra. So, this one is entirely free to get, and if I'm being honest, it is a very, very, very sticky pet. So, if you have a pet and you hatch with it one time, you will most likely get it. And the reason we say that is because the leaf storm. So, if you watched Blaze and Tara's stream, their life and death video, you'll see that she has a Kookaburra and she spams Leaf Shield. Now, that is essential for two reasons of efficiency, is because Leaf Shield in Wizard City, uh, Leaf Shield? What the hell? Leaf Storm. Oh my god. Leaf Storm is essential in Wizard City, Krokotopia, Marleybone, Mushu, all the way up to level 48. Even then some, because it has a very good base damage. So when you get your Lifeblade spell at, oh my god, I think it's level 18, 16. It's in one of the quests. It's the end of Krokotopia, I want to say. I'll do some research. I'll correct myself. But once you get your Lifeblade, that Leaf Storm is doing at least 570, and you will be good to go. It's a very, very good spell. Uh, Other pay-to-win options are, where is it? Rat Spin, which is also attainable, free to play. However, it's definitely a process. You farm King Boar and Grizzleheim. um, I've never gotten a rat spin spellament. However, I think it may have been on my storm though. Yeah, I did get 30 of Grendel's Amends, which was really cool, even though I don't need it. But yeah, so you want to get those AoEs at a low level. So because I do not have a Kookaburra of my own, we are going to be using rat spin as an example. Just know that this is 100% substitutable. And so, yeah, this is essentially your Wizard City and Krokotopia deck, I guess. Later on, I would definitely recommend having a feint in there, just so you can feint the boss, kill him, does at least 700. Very, very good. Um, on top of that, you'll start getting Spirit Blades, which you can add. You'll get your Life Blade, which you can add. And right then and there, it's 1100, which is absolutely exquisite for every single mob, all the way up until Celestia, when you get your gear and you get your enchants and stuff like that. It's a very good spell. It'll carry you. So now we're in Avalon Azteca Chrysalis, where you get the 15, 20k. I don't think there's a 20k boss. There used to be. It's 15 to 19k health bosses. My setup for this would be 2 life blades, 2 spirit blades. It would also have 1 rat spin for the mobs, and depending on the scenario, I'll either just pack a Forest Lord and do my ice strategy and just hit with that and kill, or I'll rat spin the mobs and then probably, I don't know, depending on how much it has, I'll probably just use, where is it? Just a centaur or a gnomes or a spinosaur. It doesn't really matter. The only situation in which I would use rat spin to kill the mobs is if it was a 4v1. You'll notice that a lot with spell quests. It's usually 3v1, but there are some exclusions. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. I mostly just revolve around those two strategies, the AoE hit, single hit, or just the AoE hit for the kill. And I don't really think I need to show my strategy because it's the same thing over and over and over again. I can show you, it's just as effective, but I don't feel like I need to. You guys got a pretty broad idea. So I'll just show you my full deck to single hit and AoE all these bosses to the ground. So this is essentially my AoE hit. I It's pretty simple. I can substitute this out with, let's say, a gnomes. There you go. Perfect. You'll do at least 25k with the gnomes. And then if you just wanted to do the AoE, you just take these out, and there you go. But I would always recommend having a small hit or something in your deck or your TC deck just to make sure that they're dead. And yeah, that's essentially it. It's a super small deck. While it's not 7 cards, you'll get the cards you want because you will be using all of them. And just for the record, you do want to pack pierces, you want to pack shatters, feints, whatever you want. But the one thing I very I need to hone in on everybody: do not overcrowd your TC deck. I cannot tell you the amount of times I have died trying to find a feint, trying to find a shield, trying to find whatever, because all of this was packed with shit that really I didn't need. Um, these are only buffs if you are not confident in killing the boss. So yeah, that was it for my life. We can go into my death. Let's go into my death. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a throwback. This is going to be so much fun. Alright, I decided to dress up a little bit. This is not my PvE gear. I did not stitch. I have not touched this wizard since our walkthrough, which is coming fairly soon, don't worry. But yeah, so death is similar to life in you don't get an AoE until level 48. It's very annoying and very frustrating. However, I looked through the kiosk for more free-to-play pets that you could hatch with, and I only found 2. I found the Grim Squeaker, which comes with the Death Knight card, as well as a Scarecrow. If you really wanted to, you could look for talents that give the Death Knight card. So there's ways to get AoEs earlier on. If you wanted to be more pay to win, you could, like me. Oh my god, I can't even. Oh my god. Anyway, you can go for Death Knight as well as, where is Ship of Fools? Ship of Fools, excellent spell. I mean, if you look back, this is why I'm not going to do a lot of explaining on my death, is because I have a whole walkthrough that's showing firsthand how I deal with bosses. Um, but Deer Knight is usually reserved for mobs. Ship of Fools is only if Deer Knight doesn't kill. So I would definitely, it's pretty. If you have those spells, I would recommend getting a pet with a Deathblade card. If you don't, I would recommend getting a pet with either one of the talents trained with the Deathblade card or just Deer Knight. Um, you can never go wrong with Deer Knight. It's one of the best spells for low levels in game, I believe, as well as out of game too. Um, Out of game, oh my god. End game. So essentially what I will do for my regular setup is, let me see if I have it. Is this the one I use? No. Okay, I guess I have to remake my deck. Okay, so what I usually have in my deck is I have 1 Deer Knight, 1 Ship of Fools, I have 1 Deathblade, 1 Feint, and that's essentially it. I just made this pet, so the pet that I last had was the Death Dactyl, so I had a blade from that, a blade from that. I never used the Grim Scarab. It's kind of useless to me. But yeah, so essentially this is what you're going to be going for. Pretty soon I'll be getting enchants, which will kind of alleviate me needing these. And I can just literally 1 round kill with an enchanted Ship of Fools. But yeah, that's essentially it. Very short. It's AoE kill. That's what I'm doing on my death so far. When the bosses get a little bit out of reach to be an AoE kill the way I'm doing it right now, I will be doing an AoE single hit kill. Um, very easy. Death is incredibly easy because of its heal back. There's so many heal back spells, so forget about shields. You won't even need shields. Once again, I do recommend though getting Pierce and a couple shields if it's a very difficult boss. I don't know why the fuck I have all this shit in my deck. Because when you're a low level, you just kind of put everything in your deck, and you 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 come out pretty well. So yeah, not much to say about my death. Just that I am very happy about my bear. I really like my bear, even though he gives me absolutely no benefit, nothing whatsoever. It's a cutie pie. and I love going into play as a pet mode and just running around because it's cute. Um, anyway, that is it for my death. I don't really need to do much explaining. If you guys need more references, go back and watch my walkthrough. You'll see essentially how I will be doing all these bosses in real time. So, let's see. Let's go to my myth. Boom, we're back. And boy, oh boy, I have not quested on a myth in years. Um, from what I remember when I leveled my old myth named Chris, was I followed along with Blue's solo walkthrough. Um, so essentially, you get your Myth Blade at level 12, which is very good, very early on, and you get Humongo Frog at level 22. So you shouldn't be that stressed out about getting an AoE. Pretty much, you should be fine with just literally cyclopsing every minion. It sucks, but you hit level 22 super fast. I wouldn't stress it too much. Myth is very good in the later game. I would say level 50 above, now that they added Orthoris and they made it an AoE. So I would definitely level 22. Essentially, I copied Blue's, but Blue's deck build, except I lowered it majorly. So for mobs, I usually just have this setup. Because I don't have my Strange Beast anymore, which was on Chris, I have this, which I've always wanted, but it doesn't give me any benefits. So we're kind of stuck with this. But this is going to do around 600, 5 to 600, which is going to kill every mob until you get Orthoris. Orthoris is a very good spell. And of course, you can always do Earthquake. I would definitely recommend once I reach level 42, upgrade to Earthquake, because you can do that through Dragonspire, which they have 800, 900,000 health mobs. So that's very, very beneficial. And then it's over. The second you get Orthoris, you're done for the game. So what I would definitely recommend, since Orthoris is one of the most overpowered AoE spells, you literally just need this, you need maybe 1 or 2 feints for a boss deck. I always like to carry the 2 of each spell, and you are set to go. Because I'm only level 50 on this character for the time being, I don't have Potent Trap or Sharpened Blade, so you would just add those to your deck and you are doing 25 to 30k easy. It's very simple, very easy, and don't worry about blades that much because Myth is a very, very even distribution of offensive and defensive stats. When you get Trixie gear, when you get Zigzag gear, when you get Darkmoor gear, your resist and damage are very even. You'll have around 30, 35 resist with a good pet, good Athame, Darkmoor gear, and with at least 111 damage. I think I was able to get mine up to 118. This was when Darkmoor first came out, so this is when 118 was unheard of. I think it was right after they released the jewels, so they released a couple packs with, like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to bore you with old wives' tales, oh my god. But it's not a wives' tale, it's a true story. Anyway, yeah, so it's a pretty easy, pretty explanatory. Not much else to say about this. The only things that I would definitely change are with Storm and Fire, because they are glass cannon regardless of how resisty you try to make them. So yeah, let's go to the fun ones, I guess. Here we go. Fire. Such a breath of fresh air. It's definitely one of my favorite schools, I will be honest. I've been leveling it as good as I can. I'm gonna try to get 130 today because I do have my Dragoon gear. Finally, I'm still working to get the amulet or whatever, a theme or whatever people frickin' need to get the... Oh my god, I hate farming the catacombs. And I hate farming Fellspawn even more. So yeah, that's where I'm at currently. After this video, I'm gonna try to get to 130 and we're gonna be Gucci. So essentially with my fire, It's super simple. You get your Meteor Strike the same level you get your Blizzard. I think it's around level 24. Uh, Fireblade, you are the first school in the game to get your blade, so you're already set up for a good run. Um, Ton of pets you can have to get an AoE early on. All I'm saying is you don't really need it. You have a ton of very powerful spells to easily gank these mobs. Um, while you're not as glass cannon as Storm, you're still pretty glass cannon. You're still pretty good. There's just more of a balance between resist and damage. While Storm have a lot of damage and crit, Fire has a lot of damage and resist. So the average 150 Storm can have around, or Fire can have around 160, 150, 160 damage and a good 50-60 resist. I would err on the more cautious side of 50 resist, but they're going to have 400 or 500 crit. So while they're not the best at leveling people, they're still pretty good. So what I would recommend for an AoE build for mobs and bosses is essentially just this. It's gotten to the point where you literally just need to spam Meteor Strike if they don't die the first time. That's it. The second you get Meteor Strike, you're set for... I think I still use it in Imperia if I have to do like a solo area. I just did the one in Xanadu where I had to defeat those fish. Super easy, super effective. However, if you're going to be doing a boss, because I know I'm going to kill, I like to get creative with it. Sometimes I'll do an immolate strategy just to see how much I can get. Sometimes I'll do Hephaestus, Scald, Burning Rampage, just stuff like that, just to play around. But if you're really looking to just pedal to the metal, I would definitely recommend 2 Fire Blades, 1 Sharpened Blade, 1 Potent Trap, 2 Feints, and a Fire Dragon. As we get past level 100, you can also substitute that for a Raging Bull. Instead of replacing it, I would definitely add it in case they don't have, in case you don't get a Shadow Pip. On top of that, I like to add Fire from Above just in case it doesn't kill, because I'm telling you, every single time you are most likely going to get a Shadow Pip once per battle. So with that being said, this is basically what I have as my deck. This is not the deck I'm using currently. It's going to look a lot different because it's just going in and out. Let's see where it is. This is the deck I'm using right now. Pretty similar. I'm not using Feints, as you can see. I'm using Frenzy. So because you unlock this, I think after Polaris, I'm not really adding it. This is like everything until level 100, and then level 100 plus, you guys have spells that can one-shot all the mobs. They did a nerf, you one-shot all of them, so I don't really think I need explaining with that. If it's a high health boss, you basically just do what you did for Chrysalis, and you know, you can substitute this. Will substitute a whole Feint for me. I think 2 Fire Blades and a Frenzy will do 12k with Fire from Above, or 13k. It depends on what. I have no idea. I haven't seen it go under 12k yet, which is very good. So this is essentially my deck for Fire. I rarely use it because my Storm is leveling me up, but when that happens, when I have to do like a solo thing, I know that I can do it within 3 rounds or 4 rounds. So that's very perfect. Not much about Fire. I mean, it's very good at soloing. It's also very good at team play and Fellspawn. We love a Fire during Fellspawn. But yeah, I am more for the Fossil Avengers right now, so I'm currently branching away from that because I'm stressing this now. Do not stress about the Fossil Avenger set because it will be a meta of the past. So you don't want to stick to Frillosaurs. You want to start getting more creative with your pets in case that there's another one that doesn't really require a pet. I can't wait for that day to happen. I cannot stand looking at these pets anymore. I want to have my own pets, but I need it for the stat bonus. So currently I'm working on Fennec Foxes. I'm telling you right now, I've never had worse luck. Actually, yes, I did with the Scare Bear, but this comes second place. Um, but yeah, so it's pretty simple. Meteor Strike is your best friend until you get Fire Dragon and Raging Bull and other AoEs, but Meteor Strike you're gonna use to the end of the game. So it's pretty easy. Um, I usually use the same strategy as I showed you on my ice and balance. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So last but certainly least is Storm. I rarely have been on my Storm actually. I'm excited. This is my Storm, super basic, not much originality here. This is just my energy gear, so I'm trying to build some energy. So basically, Storm is your stereotypical glass cannon hitter, whatever. Um, what I can assure you and guarantee you is that you will have a miserable time the first 50 levels. I'm putting money on it. You do not have access to a lot of accuracy. Your spells have 75 to 80% accuracy, or 70 to 80% accuracy if you're lucky. Oh no, actually, I stand corrected. 65 to 70% accuracy. So you are fizzling way more than all the other schools, and with no accuracy tools or whatever to actually benefit you, you're kind of fucked. But on the bright side, you do get your Stormblade at level 12, which is very early on, and you get Tempest at level 27, which is a little bit later on, but all your spells are super powerful, so you're going to breeze through the world, fizzles and all, until you get Tempest. Now, when you get Tempest, I would 1000% recommend either trying to find somebody who has monstrous TCs or finding accuracy cards in the bazaar, because since it goes off of 1 pip, you're not going to be doing a lot of damage unless you save up at least 6 pips to defeat the mobs and bosses, which is pretty easy. But if I personally do the accuracy just so that I can assure a hit, because in Mushu, if you fizzle once, they will. I almost feel like the second you cast a storm spell, every mob in Mushu Stormblades or storm shields. So you really want to. It's all about getting in, getting out. So for my setup, if I were to solo on this storm, I would definitely have 2 Stormblades. I would have 2 Elemental Blades, sharpened both of them, obviously. Depending on where you are in the game, I would add a Feint. If not, I would just literally have a Frenzy. And then Colossal, Epic, whatever you want. And then I would have where is it? It's Stormlord, and then 2 Temps. That's it. It's a little bit of a longer deck. However, if Stormlord doesn't kill, you can have Temp. If that doesn't kill, you have another Temp. It's a very, you still find the cards you need in a timely fashion. And then in your side deck, I would have 4 Tower Shields, because you don't, and maybe a couple Feints. That's all you really need. You don't need anything else. As you get later on, though, I would definitely recommend packing Cleanse Charms and stuff like that, or meant earlier on in the game when you can't really have a counter and when weaknesses actually are detrimental to your hit. I would definitely pack Cleanse Charms over Tower Shields, or over Feints. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's essentially my build. I'm sorry if this is like confusing and I'm not showing it. I just stick with the AoE kill all 1 round strategy. Like if it doesn't kill, I do a single hit. That's what I do on all my characters, and I didn't feel like I needed to show it on every single character. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Not much else to say, honestly. I think I went over my setups. For the mob hits, though, hold on. This is what I always pack. I always pack 2 Frenzy. I pack 1 Frenzy, 2 Temps, and one Stormlord. That's essentially it. So you'll always get this entire row. If it's a fatter mob, I would definitely Frenzy then Lord. If not, you can just go right in for the temp. I think my temp's to around 4,000. So that's pretty good. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I missed anything. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I think I covered all the bases and just the basic deck setups. Gear is obviously, if you're soloing, it matters a lot more than having someone level you up, so I would definitely stay consistent doing Mount Olympus, doing Waterworks, doing Darkmoor, even Tartarus if you really wanted to stay ahead of the game. But in all honesty, you can get to Darkmoor with Waterworks gear. I would not recommend it though, because doing Darkmoor with people with Waterworks gear is very painful, so don't impose that on other people. Please try to get as much updated gear as possible as you level up. Everybody says in their videos, try to farm the bazaar early on, every 5 levels. I always do every 5 levels, and you will be completely fine. You'll be very, very good to go. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, no matter how dumb, no matter how obscure and weird they are, I would love to answer them for you. If you think I missed something, I will gladly make another video explaining and just tying up loose ends. So let me know in the comment section. I am also very happy. Last episode was like my third video to reach over 1,000 views, so I'm very appreciative of that. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you guys soon. Oh my god, oh my god. Yeah, so I filmed a video like 3 days ago, crafting Lore Master, and I was just I wanted to cut my vocal cords out because it was just disgusting. But I crafted Lore Master. I will post a picture of the crafted spell on my Twitter, so I will link that in the description. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.